welcome everybody to today's World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name is Maxwell and our first video of the day is from the user Pogo Man. That's Pogo Man, he's driving the IS-4 on a standard battle on the cliff. So the IS-4 is one of the tier 10 heavy tanks for the Russians. Used to be a tier 9, then in an update some time ago it was buffed up to tier 10. I do own this tank. I haven't used it in a long time. In fact, I don't even think it's in my garage anymore. I think I may have sold it, but based on the strength of this replay, then I may decide to rebuy it again. But just sit back, relax and enjoy the video. So first things first, he's going to be heading painfully slowly up this hill. As you can see, this thing does not have the speed and agility of an IS-7. It relies more on its armour and its hit points than the IS-7 does to be effective in battle than it does its speed and agility. So finally makes it to the top of the hill, spots out an AMX 1390 lurking behind a rock there, getting some good spotting on the allies there, but Pogo Man not going to be sucked into that one. They've got a medium tank making his way up the mountain for some spotting of their own. So instead going to be heading up to this very northern area, which is where the heavy tanks generally clash around this mountain ridge here. And generally you do get 2 or 3 heavy tanks which decide to push this area, and a lot of the time it does just sit as a long drawn out stalemate, as nobody really wants to push too far, or nobody really wants to be the first one out and get destroyed. So he's going to have some support here, just setting himself up with his gun pointed around the corner, and he has an E75 in support. E75 going to be taking up a position behind the IS-4 there. Although, as you can see, the E75 getting a little bit impatient already and decides to push on forwards. Going to see if he can make something happen. So Pogo Man not going to be hasty and not going to be rash. He's just going to sit and find out what the E75 discovers. And he spots out a Tiger II, an E75 and an IS-4 is more than a match for a Tiger II and another E75. So he's just going to bring himself up behind this E75 and see if he can get some easy shots on them. Gets a good bead on that Tiger II and takes off a good chunk of his hit points. That's going to make him think twice about wanting to push any further forward. Although a Panzer E100 has decided to join the party. Luckily he gets a good hit on that E100. You've got to be very careful of that cannon, as it does do approximately 1,000 damage per shot. So you've got to be real careful, as that thing can two-shot an E75 if given the opportunity. Although it looks like the Panzer is just trying to rely on his 2,200 hit points to just relentlessly push forward. As you can see, he gets 1,200 damage shot on that E75. One more hit will be enough to take him out. That Tiger II getting a little bit too greedy and pushing forward, so they're just doing the classic maneuver of dropping back, firing at the enemy, and then dropping back, using the terrain as cover, and constantly firing on them. As you can see, it's working out pretty well. Fortunately, that shot just ricochets on the bottom of the E100. Looks like the Panzer's shot, the E100 shot there, bounced on the front armour, which is a bit of fantastic luck, and the E75 did a little bit of damage to him. Should really hold his shot off here to try and take this E100 out of the battle, and there we go, manages to eliminate him. Although he's out in the open now, as that E75 has decided that discretion is the better part of valour and hides behind a rock. But luckily the medium tank up on the cliff there able to finish off the Tiger II, and it's left to the IS-4 and this E75 who's realised that his friends are now dead and he is far too overextended with 2 heavy tanks in front of him and a medium tank shooting at him from on top of the mountain. So they're just going to decide to push on him and panic him and try and take him out of the battle. Should be able to get a good bit of damage on him here as he gets behind the rock. Although you see that a wild T-62A appears from on top of the mountain, decides to ram him for some reason. But I think the E75 got the better of that exchange, as he took probably over half of the T-62A's hit points off there as he came crashing down that mountain. So having a quick survey of the battlefield, you can see that they're not doing particularly well in the centre there. The game is even at 7-7, and they've won this northern flank, but it looks like the, well, I say the northern flank, this right-hand flank has been won. But it looks like the far left-hand flank is in a stalemate situation, and the enemy is pushing heavily on the centre there. He's going to try and get a hit on that E75, but he was destroyed before he could. But he's able to take out the other E75, as there seems to be an abundance of E75s in this game. Probably speaking something to the power of the E75. So we're going to see if he can get a shot on this Centurion 7-1, but it looks like he is going to take good shelter behind this rock, and there isn't a shot that he can get on him, although the GW Panther is able to take him out. So one of the enemy's artillery has presented itself, and the T-62 is able to take him out. Our man Pogo Man is going to decide to head over to the centre here and try and plug the gaps that have been left. As you can see, there is nobody left in the central area for the Allies team, so they're not sure how many enemies there will be around this area. And if there are no enemies, then it'll give him a good opportunity to fire down on the far left-hand flank from the ridge, because that far left-hand flank is where the stalemate is. As you can see, the enemy has a KV-4 over there, facing off against an Object 704 and a T-32. They've obviously got a Jag Tiger in the area, though, or else that Object 704 would just push freely on that KV-4, because there's no way a KV-4 is going to be able to one-on-one an Object 704. Just going to speed this up slightly until we get back into the action. You can see Pogo Man just trying to take a position on this cliff here, overlooking the enemy's base. Going to see if he can get some eyes on the artillery, although at this tier of play, you can imagine that the artillery won't just be sat in the base. They will be in a covered position in some bushes somewhere out of base. In fact, you saw the earlier one, the T-62A took out an artillery around the G and the H8, so quite a distance away. That Ferdinand not really presenting a shot, which is a shame. It looks like he's well hidden behind the rocks there, but it looks like the T-62A and the combined power of the artillery should be able to finish him off, considering they still have 2 artillery on the field and the enemy only has 1. As I say that, the artillery tracer does indeed come flying in. So winning this one slightly at the moment at 12-10, although that KV-4 is still alive and still on almost full hit points. So it looks like that Jag Tiger and the artillery doing work and scaring off the Object 704 and the T-32 there. Just able to hold them off and hold them at bay. That KV-4 does have quite considerable armour. So Pogo Man just going to decide to reposition now and head over to this southern area. In fact, the T-32 just gets himself eliminated there by that Jag Tiger, who is doing serious work. So Pogo Man's going to have to hope that he is focused on... Oh, spots out the GW Panther. Can he get a shot on him? He's just gone down below the horizon, but he doesn't want to move too much and give away his position. Brilliant shot there. Only seeing the top of the GW Panther over the top of the horizon, then is able to get a shot on him and take him out. Although it looks like the KV-4 has now eliminated their Object 704, but Pogo Man has spotted out the Jag Tiger, but the Jag Tiger looks like he has spotted the IS-4, although he has his shot a little hastily and manages to miss. So it's just going to be a case of let the reticule close in and boom, take the shot and take him out for his 5th kill of this match. So it's just the 2 artillery versus the KV-4 now, and the IS-4 of Pogo Man. And IS-4 should just be able to face tank a KV-4 all day long and be able to take him out. So Pogo Man, oh, actually, first shot bounces, but it looks like the artillery is going to be able to pound him in. Although the KV-4 getting a good bit of damage on his track there. Going to use the repair kit just to get in his face and hopefully try and get the last kill of the match and get the Top Gun medal. Can he do it? KV-4 bounces. This is his opportunity. Gets one through the side and is able to take him out. So good job by Pogo Man, making some great plays on that far right hand flank, doing the dropping back, using the terrain as cover and eliminating that eliminating that E100 before he's able to do too much damage to their team, and then getting some good flanking done on the last remaining defenders. So great replay there from Pogo Man. Thanks for sending that one in. Thank you to you guys for watching, and I will see you in a second. And our next replay is from the user Immortality Prince. That's Immortality Prince, and he's driving the Cromwell on a standard battle on the fjords. Cromwell is a fantastic tier 6 medium tank, one of my favourites, and it's for the British. It's got a fantastic top speed, as you see there, was up to 70 kilometers an hour. Decent enough acceleration and decent enough agility, and a pretty good fast firing cannon. As you can see, able to get into a good advanced position ahead of even the enemy getting around this turn here, so he's going to get some good spotting and hopefully some free damage on everybody who decides to make a move here. Ooh, gets a good hit on this M3 Lee. As you can see, the cannon doesn't do particularly good damage, but it does fire very, very quickly. So the M3 Lee just having a shot back at him, so he's deciding to reposition here. As you can see, the enemy thinks that nobody else is watching, so decides to then head off to that southern area. Although this KV-1's going to get himself picked off and get some free damage through his side here. Fantastic position to set up if you can make it in time. As you can see, takes out an M3 Lee, able to get some good spotting on everybody and a little bit of damage on a few people. Not quite able to get that T-49 there. He just duked out the way by crashing into the corpse of one of his fallen allies. Churchill Mark 1 here, not really going to be able to stand a chance against a Cromwell. Sorry. Yes, it is a Cromwell. Not going to be able to stand a chance against a Cromwell. So, spotting done there. The allies know how many tanks are heading to that southern flank, and let me tell you, it was quite considerable. Immortality Prince going to reposition to this central and northern area. Gets a good hit on this KV-1S. Looks like the KV-1S is already fired. Able to take out his tracks, so just going to be able to pick him off at will now. Set him on fire. He's not even able to get his gun on target before he is taken out by the fire there. So it looks like that northern flank now, thanks to Immortality Prince, is all sewn up and won there. Just one light tank there, T-50, who gets himself taken out by the 30-01. As you can see, the enemy has decided to reposition a few of the forces from that southern flank to this central flank. Going to decide to push on straight towards the town, and Immortality Prince going to see what he can do and see who he can get free damage on. It's a good hit on the side of that KV-1 here. Going to try and focus on the KV-1s and make them fall back. Not quite able to get a hit on that T-28 there as he gets behind the corpse of his fallen ally. Just spots out a SU-100 repositioning in that central flank there. All they have is that medium tank up in the north, who was dueling with a Hetzer, but able to take him out. So Immortality Prince going to switch up now to this central area and try and head off that SU-100, who isn't quite sure where the enemy is, but spots out a few more tanks making a push up this area. A T-34 here, so going to see if he can get some free damage on him while he tries to reposition himself. Although he manages to get himself behind the rocks there, so he would have been quite safe, except that that 30-01 is looking right at him. Should be able to get some good damage through the side armor of that SU-100 before the T-34 is able to do anything about it. Unfortunately, it looks like that 30-01 has now been taken out by that SU-100. T-34 pokes himself way too far around that rock and gets his track blown off and eliminated. This SU-100 is lurking in those bushes there. He knows that he's there, and he's trying to rock backwards and forwards and lure him into taking a shot. Although he spots out this A-20 making a move in the north there. Ooh, and is able to get a massive hit on him, leaving him with just one hit point left. And now he's able to take off that last remaining hit point, picking up his 4th kill now of this match. So again, he knows this SU-100 is somewhere in the area, probably lurking in those bushes. In fact, there he is, hasn't even moved. His shot somehow misses there. He really should have landed that shot. So a little bit unlucky on his part, but that gives Immortality Prince his 5th kill now of this match. And in fact, they are losing this one quite significantly at the moment, considering the enemy has managed to push heavily on that southern flank and then hold this central flank. Going to try and get some damage on this AT-8 now that he's presented his side armor, because from the front, Cromwell is going to be able to shoot him all day and never do any damage whatsoever. So really going to have to focus on this AT-8 and try and take him out of the battle, as he's probably not going to be able to take him out at any point in the future unless he's able to flank around behind him. So gets spotted out by the guys on that southern flank, and he is in fact the last tank of the allied team. Picks up a nice blind kill on that T-28 there for his 6th now of this match. So the enemy has quite convincingly won the fight in that south and middle flank. So Immortality Prince is just going to drop back across this northern area, and probably the best idea for him here is to get some eyes on his allied base and try and spot anybody who goes in for the base capture, and hopefully he can pick some people off while that is happening. So just going to speed this up a little bit until we get back into the action. So just going to be setting himself up here to keep eyes on the allied base. Just going to be positioning himself in a place where he can't be seen easily, just keeping an eye on that northern area. The problem he has here is the Cromwell is just slightly too fast, so he gets into position way before the enemy would have been able to get to that cap zone. So he's just setting up and looking in the north, as he's worried that any of the tanks could actually come at him from that angle while he's focused on the allied base and take him by surprise. But again, this tank is so fast and maneuverable that he's able to get into these positions way before the enemy is, and as you can see, there's nobody coming up this northern area to stop him. And in fact, still nobody has gotten to the cap zone. So sorry about the screen shake, but that's just a byproduct of speeding the replay up. That happens sometimes. So a little base capture had been started there, but has now been stopped. Spots out a Churchill 1 out in the open plains. Should be able to take him out. The Churchill 1 not really going to be a match for the Cromwell, especially with only having 200 and a bit hit points, and Immortality having almost, well, I was going to say almost full hit points, but he gets a big hit in his rear armor there. Not sure who that came from. But looks like the enemy still hasn't started a base capture. I think what happened there is somebody just went through the base and is now heading up that number 9 line in an attempt to try and find out where he would have been. Spots out a KV-1 who is all the way over there. Not sure what he's doing there. Maybe he's been camped there for the entire game, thinking that he's going to pick up some good base defense kills. Or maybe he just decided to drop back there at the end of the fight, knowing that Immortality Prince could have gone for a sneaky base capture. It looks like the enemy is starting to capture the base now, and unfortunately Immortality Prince is on the other side of the map and pinned down by this KV-1 at the moment. So gonna see if he's able to do anything about it. In fact, this taking on a KV-1 from the front is still going to be a risky proposition at the moment, especially with him being all that distance away. So we're going to try and get eyes on this KV-1 again. You can see him moving, heading towards that bridge in an attempt to get over and try and take out Immortality Prince. Well, gets a couple of big hits. T-49 appears from the bushes, but the turret traverse speed of a T-49 is absolutely abysmal. So all he does is pretty much just suicide in, giving Immortality Prince his 8th kill now of this match. As you can see, by the base capture is now up to 70%. There's no way he's going to be able to get over to the base and stop it in time. But what he can do is he can take out this KV-1 and pick up his 9th kill now of this match. In fact, I'm not even sure if he'd headed back when that base capture immediately started. I'm still not sure he would have been able to make it, especially not crashing into a house like that. But still, absolutely great showing there from Immortality Prince, picking up 9 kills and pretty much trying to solo carry his team here. His backpack just wasn't big enough today to fit everybody in and carry his team to victory. So, brilliant replay there from Immortality Prince. Thank you very much for sending that one in, and I will see you guys in the next replay. And our next replay of the day is from the user Daniel C701. That's Daniel C701, And he's driving the Hetzer on an encounter battle on the steppes. Hetzer obviously the tier 4 tank destroyer for the Germans. So this thing, especially when you have that derp cannon there, can wreak havoc on a team. And as you can imagine, that is pretty much what is about to transpire. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Just going to speed this one up because the Hetzer is a cow, to say the least, and takes forever to get anywhere. Looks like some random shots just landing there. Not sure if that was from an ally or an enemy. Not that it matters because he didn't hit anybody. So it looks like the enemy's going for a quick base capture. This tactic rarely ever works unless you maybe get 10 people in the cap zone at once, because the allies just rock up like this, lock onto you, and boom. Enemy vehicle knocked out. First kill of the match now for Daniel C. So just going to use this rock as cover and fall back slightly, and then try and head just over the crest of the hill to try and get a shot on this SU here, the 85B that looks like. So pops himself over the top, gets his gun on target, and takes him out for his second kill now of the match. Gets hit in the front, but it sounds like that gun has nowhere near the penetration value to be able to get through there. And again, just using the rock as cover there, the rocky outcropping as cover, while his gun reloads. Going to reposition himself behind this Panzer IV and see who we can see coming in. There's quite a lot of enemy in the area, so we're going to see if we can get a shot on this M2 medium tank. Unfortunately, I don't think... Ooh, not quite able to get a shot on target there, but it looks like somebody else has managed to do the job and in fact set him on fire. So I would hazard a guess that Daniel doesn't have the upgraded engine or tracks for this thing, as it seems to be handling even worse than it does normally. Just going to play peekaboo a little bit with this Cruiser Mark II. Going to get the Panzer I-C to drop out and try and lure him into getting into a bad position. It looks like this B1 is heading across the cap, so I'm not sure if he's actually seriously going for a base capture or if he just wants to get into position. Whatever it was he was trying to do, it looks like we will never know, as Daniel's able to get a good shot through the side of his turret and take him out, picking up his third kill now of this match. Cruiser pops himself out, but didn't account on the fact that the Hetzer would have his gun reloaded, and that was all she wrote. And it's back to the garage for him, and picking up his fourth kill now of the match. But it looks like they have been beaten up pretty badly on this far left-hand flank. All of the tanks that were clashing in that area have now been taken out. Going to see if there's anybody that he can pick off or finish off, but it looks like that light tank. Who was that? That is the Panzer I-C there. It looks like he has mopped up whoever it was that was in that area. I'm just going to speed this one up until we get back into some action. So going to be heading through the capture zone, spots out a Valentine anti-tank. Valentine anti-tank has his shot at somebody. Going to have to play it carefully here. Gets a... Ooh, try to get a shot through the side armour of that Valentine anti-tank. So it looks like his front armour may have been a little bit too high to put a shot through there, but just about missing that one, so a little bit unfortunate there. Oh, and the artillery coming in and landing pretty close there. Not quite able to do any damage or take out his track fully there. And it looks like there's another Hetzer up on the hill there, so we're going to have to play this one pretty carefully, as the gun depression isn't high enough to be able to get on target, as you can see there. Hetzer has his shot though at somebody else, and Daniel, also playing a Hetzer, knows that he's got the time to get over that hill now that he's reloading. Spots out another cruiser. Looks like he may in fact be AFK. So has a shot and is able to eliminate him. He's not sure what the reload timer is on the enemy Hetzer, whether he's just had his shot or not. So he's going to play peekaboo just at the top of that crest. In fact, he doesn't even need to pop himself out because their artillery is pounding him pretty successfully. But again, just going to play peekaboo just over the top of this hill with him. Hopefully lure him into taking a shot at that front armour and bouncing, as cresting just over the hill will give him the added extra angle to be able to bounce that shot. Trying to pick out his weak spot there, but it looks like their artillery is able to take him out before he is able to do that. It looks like the enemy's actually managing to come back ever so slightly here, as this T-150, is that a T-1? No, T-28 has racked himself up 6 kills now, so having a fantastic game. Unfortunately, I don't think he accounts for the Hetzer here, who should be able to get a shot through the front armour there and finish off his game, picking up his 6th kill there of that match. Although before he went out, that T-28 was able to pick up that D2 for his 7th kill now of the match. So the enemy team is able to even this one up fairly successfully, winning now 13-12. They've got 3 tanks left on the battlefield. You see that T-28 raging in the chat there. Gold ammo for the win. But I'm fairly certain that he's not using gold ammo. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't think that that is gold ammo. So deciding now that going head-to-head with the enemy artillery probably isn't the best idea in the world, so just going to sit in the cap zone and try and get this base capture off. And that's going to force at least one of the tanks to either come and spot, or all of them to try and come out with some direct fire, although the M37 is able to take out the Cruiser Mark IV. Now, at least somebody's going to have to come and get some eyes on this cap zone now for the artillery to be able to fire as... Ooh, somebody's obviously got eyes on the area as he's able to get a little bit of damage on him there. Gets his track eliminated twice in a row, which is a little bit unfortunate because he can see... You can see the Sturmpanzer. Is that the Sturmpanzer II? You can see the artillery right there, but he's not able to get on target. Oh, there he is, and he's able to take out. It was the M37. So that Sturmpanzer doing a fantastic job of keeping him pinned down, but he wasn't able to keep him pinned down long enough. So the fact that that M37 came and spotted it goes to show that that D2 is probably AFK somewhere on the map, so a little bit unfortunate. So it means that Sturmpanzer II is going to have to come out of hiding and attempt to come and spot the Hetzer himself, although this one is going to be very risky on his part. And there he is, and there he goes. So not quite able to get a shot off before he gets himself eliminated, and the Hetzer there picking up his 8th kill of this match, and it does indeed transpire that that D2 is AFK. So we're just going to speed through this one until the inevitable victory. So absolutely brilliant replay there from Daniel C701, showing the power of the Hetzer with that derp cannon when it is top tier in the match. So absolutely great replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in, and I will see you guys in the next replay.
Let's go.
Now, our next replay of the day is from the user Ladius, or Ladius, and he's driving the Panzer IV on an encounter battle on Himmelsdorf, and the Panzer IV is a very powerful tank when it is top tier, although you can see there is quite a substantial amount of top tier tanks in this battle. Both sides having a good fair sharing of tier 5s all the way down to tier 3s. So Ladius just going to be heading to the central area covering off Dead Man's Alley there. This being an encounter battle, sometimes you can catch people trying to make a beeline across there pretty quickly. As you can see, he's there and in position fairly early if you can catch a low tier tank making a beeline across there like this Panzer 38. Oh, just about missing there. Although the Panzer 38 is going to make a mistake and sit in the same spot. And he's not going to be able to trade with a Panzer IV, and this Panzer IV is just going to take him out. Unfortunately, the M37 decided to do the same thing, and the T50 coming in there for the ram to attempt to take him out, but the KV-1's able to steal that kill. So we're going to be heading down the alley now to try and support this T50, who's dueling with an M5 there, the Chinese version. So we're going to come and offer him some support. Unfortunately, the T50 just getting in the way there as he was about to take a shot. So not quite able to get a hit on target. This time, ooh, hitting the ground instead, but using the weight of his tank to be able to finish him off there, but takes out everybody's tracks in the process. So just going to have to wait until these repair before heading off. As you can see, the enemy has decided to send a massive push on that hill there. Pretty much it looks like every single tank has decided to spawn and then just drive up this hill. So that's going to give Ladius and this T50 free reign just to come in and take out the defenders. He's able to take out the Sturmpanzer II. And this M2 medium tank's not going to prove any kind of match for this Panzer IV, especially when he's not looking in the right direction. Not sure what the problem was there. Maybe connection issues, or maybe he's just pretty new to the game, the M2 medium being only a tier 3. So I'm going to speed it up slightly while he gets up this hill here, spots out an M7. Not sure what the M7 is doing. It looks like he's AFK. Just decided to drive and park and then go away from keyboard. So going to finish him off, take him out of the battle, make sure he gets no credits, no experience for being AFK in this one. So the enemy's push has been super effective on this hill so far, winning this one 11-7 at the moment. And they've wiped out everybody on this hill. So Lady is just going to come up behind them and try and catch up with them, as he's already got himself 5 kills. If he can find some of the stragglers here like this, spots out a KV-1, going to see if he can get some damage through his rear armour. Hopefully should be able to, oof, not quite. The cannon on this Panzer IV not being super effective. KV-1 just missing there. So he should be able to finish him off, picking up his 6th kill now of this match. But there's only 3 of them left against the 5 of the enemy team. And it looks like the remaining allies are being flanked in that cap zone there. There's people coming in from behind and from the sides and from the front. So unless Ladius can get over there pretty quickly, they are doomed pretty much. But he should be able to get the drop on this M4 here. It looks like he's focusing pretty hard on that KV-1. And should be able to take him out. Gets a good hit through the rear of his armour. This one should be able to finish him off. And there we go. The BDR moving across now. Spots him out. So going to see if he can get some damage on him. The BDR being pretty well armoured for a French tank.
That's gotta hurt.
Gets a good hit through his front armour there, but it looks like his allies have now been eliminated and it's just him left against 4 enemy tanks. And that BDR getting a massive hit through him there. Looks like he's got himself a derp cannon. But gets his track taken out, takes his gun off target. Oh, but not quite able to finish off the BDR there. But picking up 7 kills for himself there, trying to carry his team, but not quite able to do it in time. Picking up 7 kills there, and really shining out as the best member of his team. So, great replay there from Ladius. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Just a shame that he wasn't able to pick up the victory in this one.
Let's get this show on the road.
And our next replay was sent in by the user Bronx. That's Bronx, and he's driving the T69 on a standard battle on the Sand River. So you don't see a standard battle very often on the Sand River. It's normally an encounter or an assault. More often than not, it tends to be an encounter. So this one is going to be a little bit interesting, as it's not a very often seen game mode. So going to be taking a standard route. Zoomed in quite a lot there, not sure why. So going to be taking a standard route up the top of this sand dune and going to see who he can spot out, getting into position. Just going to be getting himself some good cover and then heading over behind the sand dunes. Just going to speed it up slightly until he gets into position. Spots an AMX on the other side of the map. Going to see if he can get a hit on him, but it looks like he's hidden quite successfully behind those rocks there and doing some good spotting for his team. Oof, at that range, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to land a hit, and he fades back into the fog of war and gets himself spotted for having that cheeky little shot there. Still got 3 rounds in the chamber, so not worth it to reload just yet. especially considering that he knows he's been spotted thanks to Sixth Sense, so there's got to be someone in the area, and there he is, that Type 59. So just going to head down over the horizon, so only his turret is poking out, and going to see if he can get some damage through the armour of this Type 59. Gets one damaging hit and a couple of glancing blows, and then his ally, the Dickomax there, gets himself blown to pieces. So we're going to be duelling it out here on the sand. It looks like the forces are pretty evenly matched at the moment. That Pershing trying to get into position. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to get punished for leaving himself out in the open there, and then gets himself taken out by the Super Pershing. Super Pershing proving that it is superior to the Pershing, at least in that instance. So finds an enemy T-34, although it looked like the T-34 was looking directly at him. So doesn't want to poke his head over the top now, as a shot from that T-34 will certainly ruin his day. Not going to be able to get any damage through his turret armour, but is able to get damage through that side armour. Zooms out of sniper mode now, just to keep an eye on what's going on around him, as he has that shot lined up as much as it needs to be. Gets good damage on that T-34, and then their allied T-34 is able to come in with his big gun and finish him off. So a couple more tanks have made it down to this southern flank here to support. That Type 59's fallen all the way back now and managed to finish off the Super Pershing, who pushed up way too far without support. Gets a good hit on that ELC there, and his second shot not quite hitting. Looks like he must have repaired his track and then moved off, and then someone has a shot back, so he's just going to drop back down behind the horizon and reload his cannon. Now unfortunately they don't have anybody in the area to keep eyes on the enemy, so this one's just going to become a little bit of a stalemate, although you can see the enemy tracer fire coming in, so our man Bronxy is going to have to reposition himself in an attempt to try and spot out where the enemy is, so that his allies can get some shots on them. So if you can't see the enemy, then you're not going to be able to damage them. So at least spots out the Super Pershing here. Although that may have been the M6 there, and the M6 gets himself eliminated. Looks like in the northern area that battle's going slightly more favourably than the one in the south here, so hopefully the allies can do something and mop up over there. Try and have a couple of shots at this Caernarvon now. Oof! Just about backing off in time, so this guy duking shots all day without even realising it. He's got one more shot left, but he fades back into the fog of war, has a shot anyway, but not quite able to take him out. So the T-34 deciding that he's sick of this stalemate and decides to push forward, trying to rely on the armour and that cannon to scare off the enemy. Fortunately, it's not having the desired effect, and the enemy's just pounding him in the face. His Type 59's left himself a little bit exposed, but he hasn't quite got his cannon reloaded just about yet. First shot unfortunately misses. Can he get the second shot through that armour? Yes, he can. And he's able to take out that Type 59, picking up his first kill so far of this match. Super Pershing now trying to use the corpse of his fallen ally as a shield. Having a couple of shots there. Not sure if they did any damage, as he had faded back into the fog of war. So it looks like the enemy is now in fact winning in that northern flank. They only have one heavy tank left, it would appear, so they're going to have to make some big plays on this southern flank and try and push forward for the victory. So the fact that this Super Pershing is a slow beast and a bit of a cow, Bronx is going to come in here and just try and circle around him, able to take out his track, but having to use an entire round just on 17 hit points. Has one round left. Well, I was going to see if he can get on that Jagdpanther, but the T-34 doing his job and taking him out the Hellcat. Taking out his tracks there and then falling back behind the ridge. Not quite able to get a shot on him, as he's well hidden by that ridge there. But he is able to get into cover, and his reload of his cannon's more than halfway done now. Just going to have to wait that one out. and try and get some shots on the enemy tanks as they crest over this ridge. This Caernarvon still alive from earlier. Ooh, not quite able to get a shot on him, as you can only see a tiny bit of his turret there. It's KV-1S again, all you can see is turret, but it looks like the Super Pershing's able to eliminate him. Still trying to use this sandstone hut as cover. Unfortunately, it looks like he gets shot from the front and from the side there, so it looks like the enemy is flanking around, so he's going to have to make a move and decide to get out of here. Fairly even at the moment at 9 kills to 10, although the enemy does have the allies pinned down in this sandstone village area, and the sandstone village not providing fantastic cover, so really going to have to be careful about this one. It's still anybody's game and could go either way, victory or defeat. So Bronx just deciding to drop back into the sand dunes and probably going to try and flank around the enemy, as they have the advantage of positioning here, using that hill and the cover to the best of their advantage and keeping the allies pinned down. So just going to see if he can get around the sides of them and pick up some easy shots. Enemy still winning now at 9 to 11. This Caernarvon still alive with only 42 hit points. It looks like he hasn't gotten himself into a good enough position. Spots out a, what is that? It's a Type 58. Not quite able to get a shot on him, as he seems like he's pretty well covered. Has one more shot and then drops back down behind the horizon to reload that cannon. So they're now able to eliminate that T-34, leaving just himself and this Super Pershing to try and deal with the enemy, although they both decide to try and go for this flanking move, so to try and get a more favourable ground. Being over behind these sand dunes, it's now going to force the enemy to have to abandon their advantage and come and try and take them out. And as they poke over the hill to try and get the Super Pershing, hopefully Bronx can eliminate them, which is what he's hopefully going to do here and finally take out that Caernarvon. Did he take him out? No, it looked like the Super Pershing in fact picked up that kill. So they both fired at the same time, and the Super Pershing was able to pick that one up. Knows that the Hellcat now is attempting to flank around, but sees that Type 58 as a juicier target. But he fades himself back into the fog of war, so not 100% sure where he is. Super Pershing spots him out. He's got some good cover behind those rocks there, so could... Well, it looks like that's a good shot, but the rocks providing too much cover there. Second shot is able to land and does a good bit of damage there. I'm just going to try and wait this one out. Doesn't want to waste the time trying to get a reload done. He's got one shot left, and hopefully this Type 58 is only one shot from death, but I wouldn't count on it. Looks like they've got somebody in the capsule, and that Hellcat is able to get a big hit on the front there and take out the ammo rack. Second shot unfortunately misses, and he's able to finish him off now. Although I would strongly recommend, yes, there he goes and uses that ammo rack, the repair kit on his ammo rack, as being ammo racked in an auto loader is incredibly painful, as you will take around about a minute to reload. So that Type 58 dueling with the Super Pershing, the Super Pershing able to finish him off, although it looks like the enemy has reappeared and they have an almost full health Tiger II, and what is that, an ARL. So this one looks like a bit of a foregone conclusion, considering that Bronx here is only 94 hit points left, and as you notice by his ammo there, has only 8 high explosive rounds left. So just going to try and give the enemy the runaround and make them work for this victory. I think the best he can hope for is to just piss them off and go for a draw. And in that case, nobody picks up the victory. It will be a bit of an asshat move to pull, but to be honest, it's probably the smartest thing to do right now, because there's no way he's going to be able to take out an ARL and a Tiger II with 8 rounds of high explosive ammunition. Although it looks like he isn't just running away. It looks like he's trying to flank around the enemy's last known position, and hopefully he can try and get some hits on that ARL. Fortunately, he gets spotted out and the ARL turns into position. Although he's using the hill as cover, it looks like the ARL has in fact turned around to face the opposite direction and he's able to set him on fire amazingly as both shots go through his side armour, and he's able to take him out with just 2 rounds there. So absolutely brilliant piece of play there from Bronx, picking up his 4th kill of the match. But now, as you can see, he's up against this almost full health Tiger II with just 6 HE rounds left, and these HE rounds will never ever in a million years be able to penetrate the front armour of a Tiger II. So all this Tiger II has to do is just keep his front armour pointed towards the gun of Bronx here in the T69. So Bronx just going to try and play with him here, although really all this Tiger II has to do is just charge at him. In fact, a good solid ram from the Tiger II would be enough to eliminate him. He's doing a good job of keeping his front armour and his gun on target here. So Tiger II playing it pretty well at the moment. Almost had a shot there, but not quite able to get his gun on target. The Tiger II really is going to have to make a move now, because like I said, Bronx could just go for the draw. Oh, not quite able to get a shot off there. Bronx just trying to keep the sand dune between himself. Tiger goes for the ram, but gets his track taken out amazingly, and he doesn't have the gun depression to be able to get on target. Oh, and he takes him down to 69 hit points, which isn't quite enough to eliminate him. He tries to go for the ram, misses his shot. Absolutely brilliant shot there, going awry and not quite hitting. And then he sits just at the bottom of that sand dune, feeling defeated, deflated and slightly dejected, as now he only has 69 hit points left. And to be honest, Bronx now doesn't even need to get a shot through that armour. He can just explode one on the front, and it should be able to do enough damage to be able to take him out. But he's still got to play it careful, because he is still just 1 shot or 1 ram from death. In fact, I think though if the Tiger II does decide to ram him, that would probably be a double kill, taking them both out. 1 more shot. Absolutely brilliant piece of solo one-on-one play there from Bronx. Absolutely amazing replay there. So thank you very much for sending that one in. Thank you to you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.